Okay, let's get cozy. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today, as you will have seen from the title of the video, I'm going to recommend you some cozy books. Now, I really thought that I'd done this video recently, and then I went back and scrolled through my channel, and it's at least 2 years since I did a cozy book recommendation, which to me just seems a bit mad because I love cozy books. So I've got 10... Well, I've got a few more than 10 actually. I've got 10 books technically, but some of them I've got like 1 or 2 in a series to recommend you that I love. And then I've also picked out 6 from my TBR that I'm really excited to read and that I think are going to be cozy books. And I just thought, it's October. Here in the Northern Hemisphere, anyway, it is getting darker, like the nights are getting longer, the weather is worse, as you can probably tell from the lighting in this video. I have all 3 windows, like I have the curtains open, the blinds open on all 3 windows in my lounge, which usually gives me more than enough light to film in. It's like 11 o'clock in the morning, so it should be like, this is the most sunlight we're going to get today. Sorry, I can't talk. And it's still a little bit dark, so I apologize for the lighting in this video, but it does lend itself to the cozy vibe. So yeah, I've pulled a stack of books off my TBR, off my own shelves, and then also pulled out a few from the TBR, which I thought I would show you. Now, to me, a cozy book is all about found family, food descriptions, low stakes, like nothing really bad happens, and it's all just like a lovely, cute, cozy time. It's probably my favorite, like I said, my favorite genre of book is probably cozy. If a book is described as cozy, I'll be like, tell me more. And then if there are other descriptions like found family, descriptions of food, all of those things, those buzzwords, I'm like, yes, please give it to me. Now, if you've been watching my channel for a while, you'll know that the last sort of year or so I have found my way into fantasy. So this is quite fantasy heavy. I have 1 classic, 1 romance, 1 mystery, and then we're into pretty much fantasy after that. So sorry, not sorry, but that's just what I've been reading recently. So let's get into these. I will show you the ones off my red shelves first, and then we'll have a look at the ones on my TBR that I'm very excited about. And yeah, tell me in the comments, what's your favourite cozy book? If you think cozy book, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Because I always need and want more recommendations. So the classic that I've picked out is one that is not like autumnal, but to me, this book kind of conjures up images of being curled up. Reading this book, it's a book that I've shared a lot with a particular family member. We've read it together a few times, so I have like really strong emotional links to this book because of that. And also it's got that element that I love in it, which is found family, but in this one it's an actual family. And I love the dynamic, particularly between the sisters. If you are a classic reader, can you guess which book I'm about to hold up? For me, Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen is really cozy vibes. I just love that, like I said, the dynamic between the sisters. I love Mrs. Bennet and how ridiculous she is. I love the love story between Elizabeth and Mr. Darcy, and all of the kind of like, usually miscommunication. If you give me miscommunication in a modern romance, I'm like, no, that's annoying. But I love it in this because it makes sense in this for the time period. I love all of the stuff with Mr. Collins and Bingley, and just, yeah, for me it's just such a cozy thing to curl up and read. And I haven't read it for ages. I need to do a reread really. So yeah, my first recommendation for a cozy book, if you're looking for a cozy classic, my pick would be Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. So that's our first one. Then I've got a romance. This is the only one in here. I have been enjoying, as you can see from behind me, some romances recently. But one that I just think brings the cozy autumn vibes. It has recently come out, so there's been quite a lot of hype, so I won't linger on it too long. But that is The Cinnamon Bun Bookstore by Laurie Gilmore. I read this in September. I really enjoyed it. I did also enjoy her first one, this Pumpkin Spice Cafe, which is there. But I feel like her writing has really improved in the second one. It's also set in a bookshop. So immediately I was like, yes, please. And you've also got the grumpy sunshine dynamic, but it's flipped round. So the woman is the grumpy and the man is the sunshine. And they've got this cute little quest to go on. It is spicy, so just be aware of that. If you are not looking for spice, then avoid this book and this series. But if you are okay with that, this, I feel like it's done really well here. The cover's really autumnal. It is a little bit misleading, this cover, because this is set in the last days of summer, so it's set in like the last days of August into September. However, it does have that found family. We've got descriptions of food. We're in a bookshop. I was like, give it to me, please. And I thoroughly enjoyed my time with it. So yeah, I would really recommend this one. I think this was cute and really well done. Then we've got arguably less cute and cozy, but I find something really cozy about curling up with a really good mystery, a murder mystery. And I just don't think there are any writers better at the murder mystery than Agatha Christie. So I've picked out the Midwinter Murder collection. I am lucky enough to own the whole seasonal quartet. I've picked out the Midwinter Murder one partly because my brother gifted me this one, which kind of set off me collecting the rest of the set. But also this is my favourite, and I think as the nights draw in, this is one that I would really recommend that you reach for. So I think this is 13 short stories. I mean, look at those end pages. This is so well done, this collection. I think it's 13 short stories, and they're all set around winter. You could also pick up autumn, obviously, at this time of year, or whenever you like. But I just really liked this collection in particular. And I just don't think you can get any better than Agatha Christie for a mystery. And it just says on the back, Fireside Mysteries from the Queen of Crime. And yeah, I would totally agree with that. So I would suggest you pick up some Agatha Christie if you're looking for cozy. Specifically going to recommend the Midwinter Murder collection. And yes, murder and cozy, maybe not, but that's what I'm suggesting. Okay, now I've got 2 middle grade, and then we're into fancy. I'm really sorry, I've got a cat hair somewhere on my face today, which is why I keep touching my face, which I know is annoying. I do apologise. Right, so if you're thinking, I love a bit of middle grade, I've got a middle grade in my TBR stack that I'm very excited to read. For me, middle grade is kind of almost always inherently cozy, unless it's like a thriller mystery middle grade. I feel like there's just something cozy about reading about younger characters, and also the stakes tend to be lower, not always obviously, but they tend to be lower. My favourite middle grade, you guys will know if you've been hanging around this channel for any length of time, is Nevermore by Jessica Townsend. This has got, again, the found family, descriptions of food. There's a hotel that is conscious. I can't think of the word right now, but it becomes a character in its own right. There's a giant talking cat. Morrigan has to go through a series of trials in order to get into a magical school. What is there not to love about this series, aside from the fact it's taking 5,000 years for the next book to come out, but that's a separate rant. I really enjoyed this series. I reread it this year, and I love the messages in it. Step boldly. I just don't think you go wrong with a bit of Nevermore. So that's my 4th one. We're going to try and go a little bit quicker because we're already 7 minutes in. So my next cozy recommendation is one that I avoided for years. I read it as a kid, and then as an adult, I actively avoided this author just because of the hype and the kind of like folklore around this author, and I just thought that is not going to be a series for me. That's going to be too hard to read. I won't be able to get into it. I won't like it, and then I'll have to give it a review saying I don't like it, and then I'll feel bad. However, at the start of this year, I picked up The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien, absolutely blooming loved it, and it's become suddenly a massive part of my personality. And yeah, this is really cozy. This is cozy, high fantasy adventure. I didn't expect to love it. It is his middle grade. It was written for his sons when they were growing up. And so if you are interested in reading The Lord of the Rings, this is the bit that comes first, and this is way more, I feel like this is a good way in. I still thoroughly enjoyed the Lord of the Rings series, as you can see them there, but The Hobbit has just won a special place in my heart. And we're following a little hobbit, obviously, who gets forced onto an adventure he never wanted, and I just really I feel like that's a really relatable hero to have, this reluctant hero who again ends up with this found family around him. He's very focused on food because he is a hobbit. I actually think I might be a hobbit because I very much align with a lot of the things that they want in life, mostly a second breakfast. And I just had a wonderful time on this adventure story, and like I said, I tabbed it. It was a cozy, I feel like, again, it's another great one to just curl up with under a blanket with a nice drink of your choice, and maybe a cat if you've got one, or a dog. Fire on if you've got a fireplace. I don't, so I tend to put the fire ASMR up on my TV screen to get that kind of effect, and just dive into this book. And like I said, I was so intimidated by this, and I'm so glad I picked it up because I really, really genuinely enjoyed it. Okay, we're now into fantasy. I am definitely in my fantasy era. I have been for about a year now. Like I said in one of my previous videos, like romance is also now entered the chat, so I'm kind of reading both. And some of these crossovers, some of these are a little bit, some of these have got some romantic elements, but they're not really romanticies. But yeah, the rest of these are fantasy. So these are all books that I've talked about recently, so I'm not going to linger on them too much. I just want to recommend them. I just wanted to put all of like my cozy favourites in one place, because I often get people asking me for recommendations, which is great, but it's really nice to be able to go, I've got a whole video on that recently. If you can go over there, you can see all of my recommendations. So this is why I'm making this video. Plus, like I said, it's a gloomy October day, and I was like, what can I film today that'll be like cute and fun, and cozy is the way forward. So speaking of cute and fun, my next recommendation to you is Garlic and the Witch by Brie Paulson. There's also Garlic and the Vampire, which is the first book in this little duology. I don't know if there's going to be any more. I really hope there are. I would pay a lot of money for more Garlic books. But this is the second one. And we're following Garlic, who is a little garlic bulb, and she goes on adventures, and that's really all I can tell you. She lives in a vegetable patch that's tended by a witch, and they go on adventures, and this one is absolutely freaking adorable. I read it earlier in the year. It's kind of about, it feels like an allegory for growing up, but it could also be read as an allegory for transitioning, and it just felt like, as I was reading it, I was like, this is just a cute little graphic novel. You can see the style there, but it feels like it's got some deeper meanings underneath. And yeah, I would absolutely die for Garlic and Carrot and all of her friends, and I just would really recommend this. This will not take you long to read. It's about 130 pages, so it's a little, like I said, a little graphic novel, really lovely illustration style. And yeah, I love Garlic. Garlic has also got a place in my heart forever and ever and ever. So next is a book that took the book world by storm earlier this year. In fact, the next couple are books that have had a lot of hype, so I will try and go a little bit quicker. But my next recommendation is The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst. Look at this gorgeous cover. This is just the standard hardback edition. I didn't manage to get any of one of the like cute special editions. But this one, you can see we've got a cat with wings. We've got flying cats, we've got this really cute cottage, and we're following, oh my gosh, what is her name? I'm the worst for character names. Keela, who has to escape. She lives in the city, and she has to escape back to the island that she came from because there is a riot in her city. And her sentient plant, is it Meep? Oh no, Meep is a character comes up later, Kaz, basically get on a little rowboat one day, and they escape, and they end up back on her home island, and she goes back to the cottage where her and her parents lived when she was a child. Her parents have passed away, and her and Kaz repair the cottage, and they set up a jam shop, and the jam shop is a front for the fact that she's also selling spells because she has magic. And this was just so adorable. Again, found family, descriptions of food, a little bit of magic, a little bit of romance. I absolutely ate this up. The hype is real with this one. The writing was gorgeous. There are characters that I would die to protect. I need more books with these characters. Like the way it was left, it could be a standalone, that could be a series. I'm hoping for a series. And yeah, I had an absolutely brilliant time with this. So if you've seen this around and you've been intrigued, take this as your sign to pick it up, because I really, really enjoyed this one. Speaking of books that I really enjoyed that have had a lot of hype, my next recommendation is ReWitched by Lucy Jane Wood. I treated myself to this very beautiful sprayed edge signed edition. I read this in September, so I'll link my September vlog in case you haven't seen it. And this one is, we're following Belladonna. Oh, it's coming out of the jacket. We follow Belle, who is turning 30, and she's a witch. She's had magic since she turned 15, but she's never really like properly engaged with it. She's used it here and there to like make her life a little bit easier, like choosing outfits in the morning, all that kind of stuff, but she's never really fully connected with her witchcraft. And the day after she turns 30, she gets summoned by the coven, and she has to go through a series of tests, trials and stuff to show that she is basically enough of a witch to be able to hold on to her magic. And along the way, she picks up a found family, as well as her actual family. She kind of reconnects with her mother, and it's just this beautiful kind of story about believing in yourself and connecting with yourself and growing up and kind of realizing that actually you do have a voice and being able to use it. And yeah, I really enjoyed this. A little bit of romance in this one. Oh, there's also a very cute romance in this, but it doesn't overtake the story, but I do really love the romance in this. There is a little bit of romance in this one, which I thought was also really cute. And yeah, absolutely really enjoyed that one. Then we've got 2 left, which are technically series. Let's finish with that one. So the next one, which is technically 2 books, because it's the start of a series that I'm really enjoying, is this series. So this is the Treason Without Tea series by Rebecca Thorne. So we've got You Can't Spell Treason Without Tea, and also A Pirate's Life for Tea. Did I pick this out just to show this off because it's some of the most beautiful edges that I own, along with the ReWitched ones? Yes. I was very kindly sent this one by Bookbreak in exchange for an honest review earlier this year, and then this one has subsequently been re-released. I say re-released because originally Rebecca Thorne indie published these. They then got picked up by Tor and now being republished traditionally, which is really exciting. And I just really love these editions. And can we talk, look how well they match. And they've got the numbers on the spine, which is one of my favourite bookish things. We're getting the 3rd one, which is called something about, yeah, To You at the Altar. I don't know if we've got a date yet, but I'm kind of expecting it at some point next year. And in these, we are following Raina and Chianti, who in this one, I talk about this one because this is obviously the sequel and can't really talk too much about it, but in this one, they basically run away together and they decide to leave their lives. One of them is, I think it's Chianti is the, yes. No, Raina, I always get them a little bit confused. Raina is a Queen's Guard and she decides to run away and run away with Chianti. Chianti is the mage, so she has like all of the magical power inside her, and they basically both decide to run away from their lives and set up a tea shop that also doubles as a bookshop. And that's what happens in the first book, and they are sent off on this little quest. And then the second one, Pirate's Life for Tea, follows them on that quest, and then the original quest kind of becomes a side quest because there are pirates involved in this one. So I'm really intrigued to see how it all comes together in the 3rd book. I'm not sure how many there are going to be in the series. I really enjoy Rebecca Thorne's writing. In both books, you have different found families. Again, descriptions of food, particularly descriptions of tea, which wasn't a niche I knew I loved, but I really enjoyed that part of the story writing. There's a lovely romance between the two female leads, and yeah, they're just a really good time. So I'm very much looking forward to book 3, which I think you can get as an indie publish, but I kind of want to wait for the editions that will match my other ones. And then the last ones I'm going to recommend to you that I've read before we have a quick look at some TBR books. For me, you can't talk about cozy books without talking about these books. There's 2 currently in the series. I'm very excited to see what else the writer is coming out with. And I think that's for me, like, this writer is what kicked off my love of cozy fantasy. And for me, that is Travis Baldry. So Legends and Lattes and Bookshops and Bone Dust. This was one that I sent as an ARC last year, and very rarely, these are the only 2 ARCs. So this was November 2022, so I got this 2 years ago now. These are the only 2 ARCs that live on my forever shelves just because of how much I adored these books. I have also, obviously, as you can see, treated myself to these beautiful hardbacks, which do match up very nicely on my shelves. We do enjoy that. And for me, like, this book in particular kickstarted this absolute love of cozy mystery. So we're following Viv. We'll start with this one. And in Legends of Latte, she's retiring. She is an orc. I can never remember what the phrase is. Barbarian, there we go. She's a barbarian orc, and she's decided that time has come to hang up her sword and retire. And she retires to this little town, and she decides to set up a coffee shop. Thing is, the inhabitants have never seen coffee before, so they have no idea what Viv is up to. And so she puts together this business, and she physically builds the cafe, the coffee shop, from the ground up. She finds herself some employees, which is how you get the found family element, and they start this coffee shop. And that is literally it. I've seen so many reviews of this book where people are like, nothing happens. And that's the point. That it is very, as it says on here, high fantasy, low stakes, good company. It is just curling up, a book to curl up with. It's like a cozy conversation with a friend. There's a tiny bit of romance, but it's mostly just about Viv finding her feet, finding her people, and have a good time running this coffee shop. Bookshops and Bone Dust is the prequel, so we meet Viv just before she basically like qualifies as a barbarian orc, and she gets injured in a battle, and so she has to recuperate. She's sent to the seaside. She comes across a bookshop that is like basically falling down, and she helps the owner kind of rejuvenate it. I did prefer Legends and Lattes, but I did also really enjoy Bookshops and Bone Dust, and like I said, I'm so excited to see whatever else Travis Baldry brings out next. So those are my recommendations. This video is already 20 minutes. Could stop there. Am I going to? No, I'm going to very quickly show you the books on my TBR that I am excited for, that I would class as cozy. Lots of these, I think all of these except one, were gifted to me for my birthday, so thank you so much to the people that contributed to that. I will put my birthday book haul, if you're interested, in the description. I don't do many hauls here on this channel, but I was very lucky to be gifted some wonderful books for my birthday, so I did a video where I opened them, so I'll pop that in the description in case you would like to see. We're going to run through these as quick as I can manage. First up, we have WoodWitch by Skye McKenna. I loved the first one, Hedge Witch, last October, I think. This is on my October TBR. Middle grade, witchy fantasy adventure. We've also got The Solstice Court by our very own Jade Juniper, whose YouTube channel I will link in the description. Please go and follow her, subscribe, get involved with this book if you can. She's absolutely fab, and I'm really excited to read her debut novel. This, I think she said, is high fantasy with a little bit of politics, a little bit of romance, cozy, found family and dragons. I was like, yes please, thank you so very much. This is also my October TBR, and I am planning to do a particular vlog where this will feature, so you should see my thoughts fairly soon. We've also got The Full Moon Coffee Shop by, I may well have got this wrong, apologies, Mai Mozuki, translated by Jessie Kirkwood. This was gifted to me by my boss for my birthday and looks really lovely, and it's got cats on it. I mean, hello. I'm also on my October TBR is The Phoenix Keeper by S.A. McLean. I'm really excited for this. I've seen quite a few descriptions of it. It's being compared to Legends and Lattes quite a lot. It's also beautiful. Again, this is just the standard Waterstones edition, but it's beautiful. I will very quickly show you. Look at this. How stunning is that? And it's set in a magical zoo, so I'm very, again, excited for this. So you should see my thoughts on that in October. And then two others that aren't on specific TBRs yet, but I will be getting to as soon as I can, is Kathy Yardley Role Playing. This is a romance with older protagonists. I think they're both in their like 50s, which is really exciting. We've also got a asexual male main character, which is not a representation you see very often, so I'm very excited for that. And I don't know if it's just because they're like cozied up on the cover. Oh, there's the gift note from my birthday. Lovely Anne sent this to me. It feels like it's going to be cozy, and I've heard great things. I know that Aoife from Pretty Purple Polka Dots loved this book. And then finally I've got this one, which is Till Death Do Us Part by Rose Black, which again I was gifted for my birthday. This to me just like screams Legends and Lattes. I think it actually might have been compared, yeah, so I won't read you the whole thing, but it says Till Death Do Us Part is a charming queer fantasy, perfect for fans of Legends and Lattes and Nettle and Bone. And I was like, yes, I need to read that immediately. So yeah, I will be reading this soon. Okay, 23 minutes in. Recommended you a bunch of cozy books. Hopefully there's something in there that you are interested in. Like I said, if you've been kind of circling around any of these books, take this as the sign to pick them up. I really hope you enjoy them. If you do pick them up, let me know how you get on. As I've already said, recommend me your favourite cozy books, any genre you like, in the description, because one, I love to get more recommendations, plus hopefully other people will see them, might pick up some recommendations there, which would be lovely. If you made it to this point in the video, leave me a coffee cup emoji. Just let me know that you got to the end. Please subscribe if you'd like more of this chaos, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks everyone. Bye.